second is the iron bender, and the third is the mason. If you want to build any structure, carpenter, iron bender, simple structure. Okay, carpenter, iron bender, and mason. So that's what we have here. There's a drawing that was given by the architect. Okay, I didn't show that here just to show us how this stuff is going to be, to show us the diameters and dimension, because everything in construction has to be measured. So the height of this thing is the height of this formwork. So this wood you see here, all this wood you are seeing here, all this wood you are seeing here, all this wood you are seeing here. So let me mute this. It's called a formwork. All this wood you are seeing here. The point of the formwork is to give the casting its shape, to give the concrete a shape. You know, concrete is liquid. If you just pour it like that, of course, everything will pour on the ground. So you need like a mold to give it a shape. So that's what the formwork is doing, right? To guide the shape of the concrete. So you can see that it is a perfect square. The height of this thing is 950. Now the second person I said is needed is what? The iron bender after the carpenter. So you can see not what the engineer here is holding. So if you look into the concrete, you can see that there are some things that are poking out of this liquid. That's what you call iron. Concrete cannot be strong without iron. So you need the iron bender. Then finally, you need the mason. And the mason job is to mix and pour the concrete. Okay. So the first issue we had now, we're given a task to build the foundation. So the first issue we had was that whenever we put the bolt into the concrete, remember the concrete is still liquid here. The bolt is always falling off. The bolt is always falling off. So that's the problem here. Okay. So that's what the engineer here is explaining. Right? Whenever you leave, if it's to leave this bolt is going to stay. This is what the bolt looks like. You can see that curve down, almost like a hook. So that's what the bolt looks like. Okay, in full. So if we were to leave this bolt now, it is going to fall. Right? It's going to fall if we were to leave it. Okay, it's going to fall down. So we have to find a better way to put this bolt without it falling down. And we have to leave. You see, if the bolt fall down, right, the concrete, once it reaches the top, is going to cover all of the bolts. So of course it needs to be up. The bolt is not long enough that you can put it at the bottom of the foundation and it's going to stick out. It will just fall and be buried inside. That's the first problem we had. How did we solve this? So what we did first was this, right? We took a board, we cut the board, okay, we measured it. The bolts are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 8 bolts in total, right? We made a circle and we drilled some hole into the board. Okay, we drilled some hole. We made the hole big enough for this bolt to pass through, but not big enough for the nut. Okay, rolled into the bolt to pass through so that this nut can actually hold it. So we put the bolt, then we roll the nuts. Okay, so now what you really have here is this, right? Since we cannot hold it with our hand, what is really holding this bolt is this nut. You have this nut here holding the bolt. And what is holding the nut is this wood. And what is holding this wood is this iron. Okay? Okay? There's an iron. Here, you see this iron here. Good. They call it binding wire. Okay? It's an iron, but you can also tie it like a rope. Okay? Now, if the bolt is resting on the nut, and the nut is resting on the board, this board, where we cut it up, right, so that we can spread the nuts around, the bolts around. Okay? Then if you look at here, this is binding wire, right? We use the bind. It was a crude solution, but we just use whatever resources we had on site. So we use the binding wire to hold the board, and we tie this binding wire to the wood around. That's this formwork and some of the bracings. Okay, we tie the binding wire. So that's how we went about doing this. Okay, so